feel like my voice is all I've heard on the podcast lately.
You won't let anyone else in.
Please, somebody else talk.
Hello, welcome to the Bookcast Club. Today it is me, Sarah, coming to you from Lutruwisa, or Tasmania, and I'm joined by Jen, who is coming to you from Norwich in the UK. And we are here to discuss and speak about our best books of 2025. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you okay?
I am okay.
We are missing Belle.
We are missing Belle, yeah.
Belle's poorly,
she's ill.
which is sad.
She's off.
Yeah, she's poorly. Unfortunately, we are running out of weekends that we can rearrange this, so we've had to just go ahead without her, because I know she wanted to be here for this one. We're discussing our faves of the year. I think this is always everybody's favourite episode to do. We're just going to do a few each, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
I have talked about all of mine before, which is fine, because that's the way it goes. And there are definitely, I've seen the stats on previous years, there will definitely be people that only listen to this episode. Don't listen to any of our other episodes.
Oh, that's
so it's fine
then.
that we might be repeating ourselves.
I think most of mine, I think I've only talked about on Patreon from memory, so that's exciting.
Okay, I get very confused as to which ones I've talked about
same.
on Patreon and which
Also,
ones
I
are
know
on the
that I
main
tell
pod.
you stuff, so sometimes I'm like, did I tell you any of that?
Did we record it at all?
In real life? Or was that recorded? I don't remember. Did I text you? Who knows? So you just said that we put a little post out on Instagram asking people for their favourite books. Do you want to tell us some to kick us off?
Yeah, should we do that first?
Yeah,
I haven't heard of a lot of these, which is quite exciting. So we've got Ex-Wife by Ursula Parrott.
Oh.
I've not heard of that one. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady, Hendrix, which I have heard of.
Oh, yeah. Have you read that one?
No, I haven't. I think it's his newest one, so I've not read that one. All the Lovers in the Night by Mieko Kawakam. Then I don't have authors for the rest. A Room Above a Shop, Bitter Honey, which I also have heard of, Shark Heart, The Safekeep has cropped up.
Oh, thank you.
The Good People, that's
Lovely.
Hannah Kent, right?
Big tick from me.
The Dance Tree,
Lovely.
which you really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Kiran, Milwood, Hargrave,
Yeah,
right?
I might have the Dance Tree on one of my top 3. Who's to say?
Ah, okay. Muckle Flugga? I'm going to have to look this one up. Muckle Flugga by Michael Pedersen? Never heard of that. Oh, it came out this year. Oh, this is very exciting. Lots of books to go on. The TBR. Ripeness, which I have heard of. I feel like that's the book with the pomegranate on the cover. And My Good Bright Wolf. So those are a few of our listeners' favourite books.
Yeah, I'm just
of the
looking
year.
at... I hadn't heard of this one, Bitter Honey, which I'm just looking at now. I think it's Bitter Honey by Carol Lewis, I assume is the one that they meant. This looks really good. I don't think I've seen this one around. It's got like a yellow and purple cover. So someone's lived with their husband for their whole marriage, and then he's passed away. And it's about them all sort of like coming together and finding out what he's been up to. He was a beekeeper. He was a writer and a beekeeper who came to understand the world through the language of bees. And then he's written her a series of letters. Each letter is an examination of an aspect of marriage. And then when he passes away and they have his funeral, her sister comes back and they start going through the letters together. And it's saying it's a novel which brings together 3 very different women into a broken Eden and examines how they rebuild life on their own terms. Sounds very interesting.
Is it a Welsh? It must be Welsh.
Yeah, it is. I think so. I think I just saw
Carol
the word
Lewis
Wales
is a very
somewhere.
Welsh name.
Yeah. It's got an old Welsh proverb in the beginning.
And where she lives, Berllan. Deg. That's good old Welsh name. Yeah, some good ones there. That's exciting.
What's your reading year been? I'd like to know.
Oh, yeah. My reading year's been really good, actually. I feel like I've read quite a lot. I've read more in previous years, but I feel like I've read to hit 50 books in a year. I feel I've read short books or graphic novels and stuff like that, and I haven't this year. It's all been fiction or non-fiction memoir, and I've read loads, and I think I've just got into a really good routine in the evening of giving myself at least sort of 20 minutes reading in the evenings. And I've listened to a lot of audiobooks this year, which is nice. I kind of stopped doing that because I used to do it on my commute to work, which obviously I haven't done since like 2020. And now I do it cooking and stuff like that. Just pottering around the house.
Do you work from home all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I work from home. I do go into the office, try and go in once a week, but I don't have to, which inevitably means I don't. Because it's so much easier just to rock up at my desk at home, and I spend a lot less money being in the house. Yeah, so yeah, I would generally work.
I don't know how I hadn't clocked that after. So I know you've got the nice office, but I hadn't. I don't know. I hadn't clocked that you were there all the time.
Yeah, and Ben.
Does he?
His head in.
Does
He's
he
a
work
terrible
from home?
work colleague. Yeah, both of us do.
Okay.
I had
it in my
not
mind
pull
that he
his
didn't
weight in
because
the tea coffee making.
When I visited you guys, he was working from home as like he was unusually working from home. And you were really annoyed with him, I remember, because he was in the house.
I sit upstairs, he sits downstairs.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's been like that a while now. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You must keep me more
There you
updated
go.
on your life. I'm a bit shocked. I can't believe that I didn't know that. Goodness
I'll let you
me.
know when I next go into the office.
Thank you, please. Please do. That's funny.
Oh dear. What were we talking about? Audiobooks, yeah.
Audiobooks, yeah. So you've been listening to them to drown Ben out, is that the...
Yes, when I'm cooking and when I just don't want to hear all the chaos of my house, I stick an audiobook on, which is cool.
Yeah, nice.
I literally wear headphones while I'm cooking. Yeah, but I've been enjoying that, definitely. What about you?
Yeah, good.
You've had a better
Good.
year, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I have had a much better year. So the last 2 years have been a bit of a lot. I used to read a fuck ton, like 100 books plus a year. Last 2 years have been lull years where I was only on, I don't even know, 30 or something. And this year I think I'm going to hit 50, which is really nice. So it's a lot more. And it's exactly the same as what you're saying. I'm just back in the habit of it more, give myself more time for it, feel like it a bit more. So that's been really good because the last 2 years have been, last year and the year before it was like, the podcast was, I enjoy the podcast, but when you only read that amount, reading enough for a podcast is kind of a chore. So it was quite tedious. Whereas this year it's been really enjoyable again, which has been awesome. And yeah, I do a page goal, not a book goal. And I've hit that. It was 18,000 pages, I think. So
Oh yeah, I did that because you told me you did it. So
yeah, on
I'm gonna do
Storygraph you
that.
can, so Goodreads has a book goal and then Storygraph has I think you can do like an audiobook hours goal, a page goal, and or a book number goal. And I did the page goal because otherwise the whole purpose was that I wanted to be reading a bit more consistently, and I read a lot of long books. So if you set a number, you end up trying to game it. I think everyone's like, oh yeah, I read short books, and it's also a bit. There's something about the number. It's pages are so vague and arbitrary. You're not really as aware of the goal. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like with a book number, you're much more aware of the goal itself. The pages I just sort of like dribbled to. I think I calculated if I was reading like. I can't remember how I arrived at the number 80,000, but it was averaging 50 pages a day or something like that. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think I did
Something
like
like that.
10 pages a day. Yeah, so my page goal is 5,500 and I'm on 8,600.
Nice.
That's exciting. And my audio listening was 92 hours and I am on 204%. And it tells you how much you've exceeded by as well. So yeah, I like that when you suggested it because I was like, oh, maybe I will read some bigger books if I'm not kind of tempted by a book goal, basically.
Yeah, so like I've read, so yeah, my goal was 18,000. I think I've read like 18 and a half, which is nice. So it's the 6th of December, so I'll probably hit 20,000 by the end of the year, which is nice. But then last year I read 10,000 pages and 30 books, and this year it will be 20,000 and probably 50 books maybe. So it's, even though I've doubled the page count, I haven't doubled the number because I've been reading a lot of longer books. So that sort of speaks to, how that doesn't really translate book-wise. Because like one Robin Hobb, for example, is like 900 pages, which is like 2 or 3 normal books from a normal person. Yeah. So you don't want to be discouraged from reading those kinds. Well, you might be, but yeah, I really enjoy those kinds of books. So as we know, we're not going to talk about that. I've shoehorned that in.
Do you know what I realised I've read twice in 1 year?
What?
When I look back through it, bloody Wicked.
Oh, have you? Oh, yeah, of course you have. It didn't. Hang on, that can't be right.
Yeah, because we did our first episode
Oh, in February.
March or April or something.
Yeah, I was thinking it was in November.
I was scrolling through to look for my favourites. I was like, bloody hell, I read a book I don't particularly like for this podcast twice in 1 year. That's it now. I've read it 3 times. It never needs to be read again.
I can't believe you've read it. Whatever. We'll talk about that. We haven't recorded the Wicked episode yet as we record this. But
we're all back to front. We're going to totally confuse ourselves. But yeah. It's past us talking about Wicked. Yeah, I'll probably moan about it in that episode that everyone's already listened to.
Let's talk about our faves.
Faves of the year. I feel like a total basic bitch with my first 2. I'm just gonna actually talk about my favourites.
Yeah, do it.
Otherwise I feel like I pick ones that I'm like, oh yeah, well that was really good, but it wasn't actually my favourite because I've already talked about it or people have already talked about it. So my first favourite of the year, which I couldn't believe I'd read this year, it feels like so long ago, is Bunny by Mona Awad.
Oh.
Which I gave 4.5 stars to. I feel like Bunny was all over everything maybe like 18 months ago, 2 years ago.
Well, I remember that, I don't know, do you watch Books and Lala?
Yes.
Yeah, she really liked it. And so she tends to, if you don't know her, she's a very big booktuber. Very high quality videos. I really like her videos, actually. I've come back to her.
I really like her. I like her vlogs a lot.
Yeah, she's very clever about how to make vlogs. You can tell she's a graphic designer and she works in that area because she's just very good at putting vlogs together and stuff. They're just very, very well done. Even though, God, she reads chaotic stuff. But anyway, she really liked that book. I think a couple of years ago. So I reckon it would have been everywhere because of her.
So I feel like it had a moment on BookTube and then TikTok really got hold of it about a year ago, I'd say, like 18 months maybe on TikTok. And I thought it sounded like a book I'd really like, but as ever, because it was massively hyped up, I kind of pushed back on it a little bit. I was like, I'm not going to read it now. But I found it in a charity shop, which felt like a really good find. Bunny's basically the story of Samantha, who's a bit of a loner, I guess, like a loner student on an elite like MFA writing program, and she is alienated and kind of not disgusted, but really turns the nose up, but is also really drawn to this like cliquey group of wealthy saccharine classmates who, I think there's 4 or 5 of them, who all call each other Bunny. And Samantha is then like unexpectedly drawn into their secretive workshops in air quotes. They have these workshops that they do with, I think, one of the lecturers, and they're all like behind closed doors, are quite secretive as to what's actually going on. And anyway, she gets invited into that world and discovers that their writing rituals and what's going on behind closed doors is far stranger and dangerous than she could possibly have imagined or their front suggests. And yeah, I really, really loved it. And as she gets more and more drawn into their kind of clique, the like reality, the blur between fantasy and reality gets more hazy, and you can see her like pulling away from her actual friends and housemate. And yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I like where it went. It really reminded this is an obvious comparison, but it really reminds me of Mean Girls, but like a really dark, macabre, uncanny version of Mean Girls.
That's kind of the impression it's always given me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's really good. And she's just brought out a sequel, which I am using to prop my microphone up, called We Love You, Bunny, which has the most hideous cover. I did buy it in hardback, but it is horrible. I feel like it looks AI. I think I've said this before, and I'm probably really offending some artist, but yeah, I really hate the cover. But I have it, and I've not read it yet. But I'm excited to. Kayla didn't like it, I shouldn't have watched her vlog where she read the sequel because she didn't enjoy it very much.
No, but she's very controlled.
Yes, and I think going into it, she knew she wouldn't either. Yeah, so it makes me laugh because on the cover of it, there's a quote from Margaret Atwood, but then in like tiny font next to it says via X, formerly Twitter. I'm like, that's really weird. Is that how we blur books these days? It's just very strange. I feel like it was a super popular book and they've given the sequel like a horrible AI cover and then a pull in like Twitter quotes to put on the front. It's just bizarre.
Can I see the cover? Oh, yuck.
I'm showing the cover. People, if they've seen it, they'll know. But it's like
I don't like it at all. It looks very AI.
made
I
of
see what you mean.
petals. It's like a bunny mask made of petals. But I'm like, the original's so good. I even bought the special edition. I'm gonna have to show you that now. Hold on.
Yeah, I like that. It's a very iconic cover, I would say.
It's black and pink, and then it's got they call spredges, the edges of the book with the
Yeah,
pink,
that's
and
nice.
Robin really likes it. I'm like,
Good
no,
gear.
you can't have it. It's mine. So there you go, bunny.
Love it. Nice. Well, my first one is The Dance Tree by Kiran Milwood Hargrave,
Aha.
which I'm pretty sure I've talked about, haven't I? I think we did.
You've talked about it somewhere. Who knows where?
Yeah.
Talk about it again.
All right,
it's
very
fine.
briefly. So Kiran Milwood Hargrave writes a lot of like historical fiction. Often it's a little mythically, would you say? There's sort of some kind of like fantastical, mythical element to it. The Dance Tree is set in 1518 in Strasbourg in France, and it is based around a true story about one or a real sort of famous event where one summer where it was very, very hot, this kind of hysteria took over Strasbourg. And what happened is that women started dancing sort of randomly in this sort of this mania overtook them. It's such a... I didn't know about this event. I don't know if you did, but all of my friends in the Netherlands did. They were like, oh yeah. So apparently it is like a well-known thing. Actually, one of my friends came to my house and she doesn't know this book at all. And she saw it on the... like lying on the table, and she was like, oh, that's a funny, is that about that thing in France? And I was like, yeah. So they all sort of knew this thing that had happened. And so it's based around one particular family in this time. They're sort of trying to keep out of it. The city is very controlled by what they call the 21, who is like the council. It seems to be kind of like the council, partly the church. There's a bit of blurriness there between church and state, as you obviously have in the 16th century. And they're trying to kind of toe the line. They're very, very poor. The council are taking a lot of things away from everyone. And they're trying not to get too involved in what's going on. But this hysteria is kind of gripping the town. And all these kinds of things are being sent in to try and stop. So they're sending musicians in, for example, to try and stop the women from dancing. And everyone's kind of like in a car crash. Everyone's sort of intrigued by it, but feels like they shouldn't be watching. And then people sort of go there, and then it's a whole thing like, oh, did you go there? Did you see them? And then more and more people, more and more women start dancing. And it's the chapters are set every now and then. There's just a random chapter title, which will say like one woman dancing, 50, 100 women dancing, 200 women dancing or something. So you can sort of feel it building up to a particular point. And everyone gets very desperate to sort of solve this issue, and it just gets into like the hundreds of women dancing, which I think is not quite what happened in real life, but it just builds to this really good point. And I just thought it was excellent. Kiran Milwood Hargrave writes such an incredible sense of place. Like, it feels very hot. It feels very clustered. It feels very desperate. And this sort of mounting tension plus the heat is just really, really well done, because she writes that kind of heavy, pervasive heat that's there for the whole book. She writes that really, really well. And the main character has got a lot of bees, so she kind of has this sort of bee thing going on as well. And how that all kind of plays into the heat is just, it works really, really well. So you have this sort of heavy sort of languid sense of place. Plus there's quite a lot of tension within the family. There's some big changes have just happened in the family, so that's sort of the dynamic in the family is really, really well done. One of the sisters of the family has just come back from a sort of nunnery or whatever a monastery is for women is called, because she was being punished for something. So she was there for 7 years, and the main character is not sure what happened to her. No one wants to talk about it. So there's this sort of like internal family struggle as well as like the bigger one in the town, and it was just bloody excellent. Really, really liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Mercies, and I think I told you that I found a copy of this in my local charity shop, so I'm looking forward to giving it a try. She has got a new book coming out in March called Almost Life. And interestingly, well, I'll read you the blurb. Erica and Law meet on the steps of the Sacré-Cœur in Paris. 1978, Erica is a student relishing her first summer abroad before beginning university at home in England. Law is studying for her PhD at the Sorbonne, drinking and smoking far too much and sleeping with a married woman. The moment the two women meet, the spark is undeniable, but their encounter turns into far more than a summer of love. It is the beginning of a relationship that will define their lives and every decision they have yet to make. Erica and Law's love story spans decades, marriage, children, secret trysts, and the agonising changes, both personal and political, that might mean they can be together after all. But when life brings them within touch and distance again, will they be brave enough to seize a future together? So it sounds really good. I'm intrigued by the cover. Because looking at the cover, it does really suit the book. But I clocked the cover before I saw who the author was. And I was like, oh, it really surprised me that the cover was for a Kiran Milwood Hargrave book.
It looks
Even though now reading the blurb, it almost feels like they're going to try and pitch her to a different market.
Yeah, it looks like a Virginia Woolf.
Yeah, like Marion Keyes is blurbing the front. Yeah, interesting. I don't blame them. I think she's an amazing writer. So I feel like if they are trying to push her out to more people. But yeah, it just struck me as a marketing move.
Yeah, I agree.
Compared to her other books and the covers of them.
So this one's set in Paris in 1978. So she's...
in the 70s, yeah.
Moved forward in time. So it's a lot of like... I don't know if that counts as historical fiction, it might, but it's a lot of queer historical fiction is basically what she writes.
I guess it is. 70s, what's that? 50 odd years ago.
Yeah, 50 years is plus it makes it historical fiction, right?
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I really like them. She writes really, really good dynamics between women as well. Romantic and platonic, really good. She just captures it really well. The nature of women's friendships and relationships. So she's just excellent, I would say.
We like her.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. She's also, as I'm looking, she's read way more than I thought. She's written way more than I thought as I'm scrolling down.
She was a children's author, or is, I think she still writes children's books, who turned her hand to adult writing and is really very good at it.
Yeah.
I think I've read one of her children's books. I think it was about leprosy, one of the islands that they
Wonderful.
sent people with leprosy to. Okay, so my next book is, again, another one that everybody read 2 or 3 years ago. And that's I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenette McCurdy, which I also gave 4.5 stars to. I've read lots of good memoirs this year, and I was like, oh, which one do I pick? But I really loved this one. I thought it was really, really good. It's about Jenette McCurdy's... It's her reflecting on her childhood and her rise to fame as a Nickelodeon child star, and the very complex and, in hindsight, very harmful relationship that she had with her mother. The book is Jenette recounting her mother's emotional manipulation and her very controlling behaviour and the pressure that she put on her to succeed, and how that's shaped her, sense of identity. She tackles things with really bold, dark humour, which I guess is what kind of makes the book feel so different, I think, to any other memoir I've read, because I've read a lot of child star memoirs. They generally tend to travel down the same kind of path, but it's just the way it's written. It's super honest, super funny, but also really heartbreaking at the same time. It's a really good look at the pressure of the entertainment industry, and then on the other hand, a really kind of moving narrative about her reclaiming her autonomy after being very traumatised by her mum. A lot of unpacking to do. There's an incident in it, and I don't know why this one stuck out with me so much. Maybe because it's so kind of childishly manipulating. But her mum takes her to get ice cream after a successful audition, and she cries because Jenette doesn't choose the flavour that she wants her to choose. And yeah, and I think they share the ice cream because her mum, I mean, lots of content warnings for eating disorders in this, because that's the big thing her mum did, was essentially like train her to be anorexic. Yeah, it's all very traumatic, and I think the ice cream is being shared because, you know, one person can't have a whole ice cream to themselves. But it was the fact that she cried to make her choose a different flavour, and Jenette just loved her mum so much. That's why I think the title of it's so thought-provoking as well, is that she loved her mum so much she would do anything to make her happy. But as an adult, looking back on those incidents, you could be like, my God, how manipulative of a child is that? And how much of a narcissist you need to be to behave like that with your children. Like, I found this interesting quote that I kept this open because Reddit has a lot of thoughts about this one. But I'd forgotten this bit. Like, she makes the kids shower together, and by kids I mean like her brother was 16 and she'd make them shower together, telling them that she only had time to like, but why was she even like showering the eldest at that point anyway? So yeah, like this quote from it. So, Mum showers me with Scotty sometimes. He's almost 16 at this point. I get really embarrassed when she showers us together. I can tell he does too. We usually just look away from each other, and Scott distracts himself by drawing Pokemon on the fog glass. He does a pretty good Charizard. When she showers us together, Mum says it's because she's got too much to do. Scott asked if he could shower himself once, and Mum sobbed and said she didn't want him to grow up, so he never asked her again after that.
God.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's fairly traumatic, and she's just very honest in it, and I think she's very ready to write that memoir. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this one. I've sort of steered away from it because it just sounds very hectic. But
yes,
yeah, it sounds really good.
She's really good. And if you listen to the audio, she's just very funny, and it's a brilliant memoir. And she's bringing out her first like debut fiction in January, which I've pre-ordered. I never really pre-order. Like, I was saying that. I bought the Mona Awad one. Yeah, it's called Half His Age. And I think it is going to be about a relationship between a much younger woman, maybe even teenager, and her older teacher. Oh. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what she does with fiction, because she's a really good writer.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like maybe that's what she does now, but I don't think she acts anymore. I feel like maybe she writes. So they're about to make this into a TV series, or at least I heard it was going to be a TV series on like Apple TV, and I think she's the main like producer on it, and Jennifer Aniston's going to play the mum. So yeah, I'd be intrigued to watch that as well. I don't know how on television how they'd get that balance of humour and what is very traumatic right. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll pick it up, but it sounds really good. I'm not surprised you enjoyed it.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll try the audiobook.
Yeah, my library had it.
Yeah. Speaking of audiobooks, my next one is The Secret Commonwealth by Philip Pullman, which I've talked about a little bit on our Patreon episodes. I might plug the Patreon here. This is a good point. So the Patreon episodes, in those we have a couple of Patreon tiers. Jenny will jump in.
We have.
Yep, go on.
We basically don't have tiers. So there is one tier separate to all our other tiers that basically you can pay what you want and you all get access to the same things apart from our top tier. So yes, we have a pay what you want kind of scheme going on.
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Jen. Jen works it out. In this podcast, we very much have a division of labour, I would say. We don't get on top of each other. It's like, you do that, great. I'll do this. Done. We trust each other, that's what it is. And Jen does the Patreon. So what we do on the Patreon is that we do a monthly bonus episode. In those, they tend to be a little bit more chatty than our main episodes, and we tend to cover a lot what we're currently reading and what we're picking up at that moment. We also tend to do a lot of films and other kind of bits and pieces. So I always really like the Patreon episodes. I don't know, I find them really fun to record. But I have talked a fair bit about the Philip Pullman series that I've been reading this year on it. But if you're interested, check out our Patreon. It is linked below. And in the top tier that Jenny just alluded to, which I think might be full. We might have one space, something like that. It's nearly full.
Oh, I think we have a space now.
A single space, okay.
Belle was a Patreon for ages when she was also a host.
Oh,
so I was like, what are you doing?
Get her
Please
off.
stop paying.
In the top tier, you get personalised book recommendation from us. So we get you to fill out like this big survey where you say everything that you like and you write all this stuff. And then we send you personalised book recommendations. And then we will also sometimes send you a book in the post, like a physical book, as a present from us. So it's very nice, but we can't do them for loads of people. So we have a limited number of spaces. Alrighty. So The Secret Commonwealth by Philip Pullman. So this is the second book in the Book of Dust trilogy, which I hate as a trilogy name. It sounds so much like a book title that it's such a weird trilogy name. But anyway, the Book of Dust.
Isn't it the biggest, isn't the first book literally say Book of Dust, on it, as if it is the title? With, tiny little what its actual name is.
It's so dumb. Anyway, so he's written this trilogy, the Book of Dust. It is adjacent to his most famous trilogy, which I think is called the Northern Lights trilogy or something like that, which is a sort of middle grade / young adult. And the Book of Dust is set, it's sort of set before and after the Northern Lights. So the first one is set before, and the second and third ones are set after. Bit odd. There's 20 years between the first and the second novel for some reason. And these are much more in the, I would say, upper young adult range, maybe young adult. They're definitely sort of an age group above the Northern Lights trilogy. So I hadn't read them. I read the Northern Lights, I don't know, a long time ago when I was a teenager, I think. Hadn't read the Book of Dust. But the third one is coming out. Well, it's out now. It came out in October. And that's often what sort of actually motivates me to finally pick up a trilogy, because I don't like waiting for the third book. And I'm also a little bit scarred by people such as Patrick Rothfuss and other fantasy writers who sort of write really good first and second ones and then forget about it ever again. So these are set, these are, if you don't know the world, it's a sort of fantasy version of basically London, and the idea is that everyone has like a little animal companion in this series, and the animal companion is a part of you, and it represents like many parts of your personality, and they stay with you always, and you have it from the time that you're a baby. So it's a very cute little sort of concept, and everyone has like these different little animals, and it's always describing what animals people have with them. They're like badgers and foxes and all this kind of stuff. So it's quite cute. I like it as a concept. And these books are just really good. They're a really nice story. They're really well paced. The audiobooks are fantastic. They're narrated by Michael Sheen. Is that right? No, Michael Sheen. And they're
He's a Welsh boy.
Done. He's a Welsh boy, yeah. He does a really good job.
He is.
And the whole sort of series, what it's focused on is this idea of this property called dust. It's got this weird sort of parallel to Dune, which I'm not going to confuse myself talking about, but it's got this property called dust, which is basically what gives people magic abilities. Some people sort of have some kind of vague magic, which is mostly about fortune telling and that kind of thing. And it's about this property, this thing called dust, which can give you this ability. And it's researched by some people. The church, or sort of there's an organization which is a version basically of the Catholic Church. They are really keen on stopping this, so they're sort of exerting more and more control and trying to get a handle on the research about this property. And that's sort of what's happening. There's a lot of tension building around this kind of thing, and they're starting to create a little bit more separation between people who have, who can basically use this stuff, people who can't, trying to create more segregation. And it's, there's a lot of parallels and commentary in there about things like migration, things about religious orders sort of having control over the government and having influence on politics and that kind of thing. It's, just really well done. The adults in there are really grey as characters. They're not sort of black and white. A lot of young adult novels will have like adults being really, really good or really bad. It's not like that. You have people who are, some of them are doing good things, some of them are doing bad things. It's very good at showing the complexities of what motivates people. So a lot of the adults will do things that are not ideal, but there's clear reasons why that is. So it's a lot more nuanced, I would say, than a lot of other young adult that I've read. And the story is really nicely complex, and it builds really, really well. So I'm just super impressed with it. I think for a young adult series, I think it's just, really outstanding. And the second one, I just thought was really, really good. And it's, loved it, basically. What else can you say? Thought it was excellent. And I've got the third one on hold at the library, so I'm waiting for my turn to come for the last one.
Waiting for your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I read the Northern Lights trilogy a long time ago. But yeah, you've really sold these ones to me. I'll have to get hold of the audiobooks.
Yeah, I think you would love the audiobook. Michael Sheen does a great job.
I listened to the audios of the Northern Lights as well. But yeah, they sound really good.
I honestly think it's much better than the Northern Lights.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that just because of the maybe age?
I think so, probably.
Aimed at, or
yeah. This one's just got a lot more. There's a lot more depth to it, I would say. So I think as an adult, obviously the Northern Lights are a classic kind of middle grade book for a good reason, but as an adult, I think you would get a lot more out of the Book of Dust. Really. And you don't need. I barely remember the Northern Lights. You don't really need it. It's not. It's the same characters.
No, I only really remember their little demons. That's what they're called,
me too.
Their little companions. Yeah, they're cute. Okay, my final one is. I haven't talked about this one before, so that's exciting.
Ooh.
Seascraper by Benjamin Wood, which was. I gave this 4.5 stars as well. This was longlisted for the Booker. Don't think it was shortlisted. It's quite a funny story as to how I came to read this one. I got excited by all the hype because everybody that I watch on YouTube, like, they tend to read the Book of Books, and so when the long list was announced, I was on the hype train, and I reserved loads at the library, and then reality hit probably 3 days later, and I was like, I'm not going to read all these. And Seascraper is the only one I didn't cancel because the story and the cover appealed to me. But Seascraper is the story of Thomas, who is he's really young. He's like an old soul in an aging body, like a body aging way before it should because of his occupation. But I think he's 20, and he's a shanker living with his mum in a small, like, fading English coastal town. And every day he goes out on his horse-drawn cart to scrape shrimp from the beach, the shoreline, and he sells them at market. So it's a harsh job to be doing. He doesn't make much of a livelihood from it, and it's been passed down like generationally through the paternal side of his family. So his grandfather did it, his father did it. But Thomas harbours dreams of being a folk singer, so he hides, is it a guitar or a ukulele? One of those stringed instruments in his bedroom, and every now and again he'll like practice his guitar, and I think he wants to impress like a girl that I think she works in the local pub. But there's this other side of him that he obviously really enjoys, but you just know that he's like locked into his occupation. But this kind of all gets turned on its head because charismatic American director turns up, like, what's his name, Edgar something, and he's like scouting the beach for a movie set and ends up offering Thomas a chance to like be his guide along this beach because it's quite a dangerous stretch of coastline for areas of quicksand, which obviously Thomas knows back to front, and him and his dad and his grandfather would like map out the areas that they need to be bad. So what begins is this kind of quite pragmatic arrangement between the two of them, then kind of ends up with Thomas having some sort of existential crisis as he's kind of forced to decide whether he'll stay kind of bound to this town that he's in and by life, or whether he'll like take a risk to kind of change his life entirely just from this meeting with Edgar. I really, really loved it. It reminded me of Small Things Like These. It was very much one of those character-driven stories where one incident happens that can completely change somebody's life. I would say it's a little bit more the inciting incident in small things like these. I don't think, what's his name? Is he called Bill? I don't think he's particularly aware of the consequences of what would happen from that very small thing that happens that day. Whereas the consequences of this encounter are much more obvious to everybody involved. But I think if you like small things like these, you'd really, really like this one as well. I really loved it. It's beautifully written. And
Yeah, right.
I could have read about Thomas and his life all day long. Yeah, it was really good. Loved it.
Oh, that's interesting. My impression of it was more that it was just kind of like a literary Stephen King or something. I think just because of the main...
Oh, no.
That sounds good. That sounds interesting. I like
Yeah, it's really good.
the sounds of the
I was
setting.
surprised by it. I had no idea what it was about, really.
Yeah. I just knew that this director came he's looking for something in Maine. So that's where I got the Stephen King from.
Yeah. I didn't even know that that's what happened in it, you see. So all I'd really seen was the cover, which is like this beautiful, like watercolour
Yeah.
of a horse in the far distance who's obviously on the beach. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good.
That sounds good. I don't know, you'd read that.
Yeah, and the ending is really satisfying. Like you can decide what might happen in the future. It doesn't give you that much. But I like books like that. Don't spell it out for you.
That sounds good. My last one I definitely talked about on a Patreon episode, but it is this A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So this one is... Becky Chambers is a sort of science fiction-ish writer. She wrote The Long Way to the Small Angry Planet. That was huge. That must have been about 6 years ago, maybe a bit more. And The Psalm for the Wild Built is a new duology. It's the first one in a duology of hers. And this is set way, way, way into the future when we've sort of gone into the sort of AI robot phase and then out again. So it's in this book, people using robots all the time and robots being like really having sort of consciousness, if you can call that, and being sort of run by AI. That's in the past. That's already happened and we've sort of moved past that. And interestingly, it's gone back into a much more nature-focused, anti-technology kind of time. So there is technology in this, but the way that people live is now much more in small villages, and it's sort of moved past the like kind of big connected era, globalization era. And it is set around this kind of monk type person called Dexter, and their job is there's a lot less pressure in this society on producing a lot of work, and it's much more about higher quality life, and people do things that bring them a lot of joy, and the society has kind of taken a bit of a step back, I would say. So everyone's kind of living a sort of simpler life and it's much more focused on what makes you happy and less focused on things like having a lot of money. Money is kind of a thing of the past, for example, and it's just focused on helping each other, and it's a very sort of like wholesome life, really. And so Dexter's job is basically like a tea monk, and what they do is they drive around from village to village and they make sort of custom herbal teas for people and talk to them, and it's basically like a talk therapy type thing. So you go to see a tea monk and you tell them about what's bothering you, be that sleeplessness or whatever. It may be stress, maybe anxiety, something like that, and they will make you up this kind of brew, and then you sit with them and you drink it and you just talk about what's going on, and it's supposed to be this moment of like respite, basically, and that's their job. So they're basically kind of like a traveling kind of counselor type person, and it's about their travels. What happens is they end up traveling really deep into the wilderness, and they end up finding a robot. It's the first time someone has seen a robot for a long time, because the robots still all exist, but they've gone off on their own. They don't work with humans anymore, and it's not considered to be that good a thing to like be relying on a robot. And so it's about Dex and this robot sort of coming together and relearning about what happened and why human and robot separated, and how we use technology. And the robot is kind of interested to find out what humans are doing and what's going on with these people that kind of created them. And the robots have just become sort of their own thing. They just do their own thing. They live on their own. They're separate from humans now. So it's about kind of the reunification of humans and robots. And it's just, I don't read a lot of science fiction. This is a very, when you think of science fiction, I always think of like space operas type things, people flying around in spaceships. It's not like this. It's very, very set in the future, but it's very nature focused. It's very quiet. It's very meditative, and it's a very accepting kind of novel. We've moved well far into the future where people are accepted for who they are. So it's a very kind of inclusive novel, and that's all sort of very quietly in that, sort of quietly through that. And you can see that Becky Chambers is imagining a sort of more ideal world, what could be, I guess. And it's only a short book. It's only 150 pages or so. And it's just a lovely kind of meditation on life, really, and what could be and how we could live and how we could use technology sort of ideally. And it just feels great. It just feels lovely. It's really a pleasure to read. That also a really good audiobook. I listened to the audiobook of this one.
I really like the sound of this. I feel like I need a tea monk in my life.
Yeah, it's a very cute idea. It just feels really nice.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to tell a tea monk all my troubles and then them come up with some brew for me. Is there a second one? Have you read the second one?
Yes, I have read the second one. It's also good. The first one is really, really good. I really liked the second one. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5. So the first one, I think, because it was sort of a newer concept, so it just felt really nice. And the second one is basically more about, so the first one is based around this Dexter, this monk, finding the robot, and then what they're going to sort of do. And then the second one is more about the robot actually moving around with humans, and it kind of moves on a bit. So it's good. I really liked it as well, but the first one's just really nice.
Yeah, they sound really, really good. It always amazes me that people can come up with these concepts.
Yeah,
They'll be inspired by something, but it always,
it feels very fresh.
Yeah, it always amazes me. Yeah, it sounds really, really good. Oh, cool. That's it.
Lovely.
That's our favourites. Did you have any honourable mentions?
Well, no, but you might notice I talked about one duology and one trilogy. So I've kind of talked about...
I was cheating a little bit. I've got a few because I was picking from memoirs. God, all of these. Oh, no, okay. I've got this list of... I really enjoyed All Fours by Miranda July.
Oh, yeah.
Is that her name? Yeah, really enjoyed that one. The Safekeep is also on my list. It's one I really enjoyed this year. And then I've got a load of memoirs, which I listened to on audio. So I've got From Here to the Great Unknown, which was the Lisa Marie Presley one. The Wager, Raisin Hair, and All Creatures Great and Small, which I've definitely talked about on here before. I loved all of those. In fact, some of those scored higher than the ones I talked about. But yeah, sometimes I just think that's because I get excited by the narration. But yes, I loved all of those as well. So I thought I'd mention them. Can't believe we're near the end of the year. Do you reckon you're going to read any more bangers before the year is out?
No, to be honest.
I'm in my trashy book era now, so I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
anything decent.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what I've got out from the library and stuff right now. I don't think so. Nothing's giving me. I'm just be happy to see the year out with having read a lot. I'm just really pleased with that. That's
it's
happy
nice.
About it.
I'm excited for next year. I have just posted today on our Instagram our pick of the new releases that are coming out next year. So if anybody's intrigued as to what's coming out in the first half of next year, they're all there. Yeah,
exciting.
So enjoy, have a look through. I've pre-ordered a few. Pre-ordered them knowing that I can cancel them, right? Because Waterstones doesn't charge you until they actually post them. So
she's going to forget about them.
What have I got to lose? Oh, I'll forget about them. They will just turn up. I'll be like, well, 20 quid's come out
of
my
account.
Who did this? It'll be fun. It'll be lovely.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I think that's the end of the season, I believe. We're out of order, but I believe this is the last episode. So I hope you enjoyed the season. We're now off for a little while until we will resume probably around March-ish, something like that, for season 5. So thank you for supporting. Check us out on Patreon if you want to keep listening to our episodes. And we hope you check out some of the books we talked about. And thank you again. We will speak to you next year. Goodbye.
Bye.